Hey guys, my name is JessiMew, and welcome back to Adam's Quest. In the last episode, Animeme's champion passed her test with flying colors. Not only was she able to successfully defend her family from the hyena roaming in the grass, but it never even caused her any damage because she intimidated it with her spiky body. One of you mentioned that the hyenas actually avoid our creatures with the spiky body, which I was not aware of, so it sounds like the spiky body might just be one of the most useful traits for our defenders. Meme is sure to pass that on to all of her future generations, because now that she has completed her quest, she can successfully become the beacon of adventure that our tribe so needs. Vantakir, who seems to be Vankir's champion, is trying his best to do the same, but his quest is more suited to all of the berries on the islands, because of course Vankir was the god of the harvest. So we're thinking that part of the problem might be these bunnies, who are stealing every last one of the berries on these bushes. So I think Vankir is going to have to, or Vantakir rather, is going to have to do a little bit more hunting once he gets to this other island. His mother is probably going to have to make a clear path for him pretty soon. Maybe she could scoot over here to light up the way for him. She does have a little bit more life left in her, and I was hoping that she might be able to have another baby, but I think she's really more focused on making sure that Vantakir will grow up well. He has a very big destiny ahead of him, one that I'm sure she is quite well aware of. Maybe Vankir himself even offered her a little vision in her dreams. And then meanwhile, we have another family blooming over here. Drift kind of pushed his brother Breeze to continue their family line, and this wasn't really a connection of love. It is worth repeating that Breeze is just trying his best to preserve Adam's stories. They do need an heir to give those two bluebird feathers to after all, and they're both getting very, very old. Drift unfortunately took a little bit of damage on the journey thanks to all of that deep water, so he's going to be passing away within the next few days, but he doesn't really want to let his twin know. So for now, I suppose we could set up a little camp for our snake sisters. Maybe we'll bring Viper right up here next to the berry bush to set up her nest and then make sure she has plenty of berries to feed her new baby. Then she'll be able to have her baby next to her sister too, so they'll be a very close family, I'm sure. That being said, I think I have completed my list of creatures who will be joining us on the next island, and we only have 10 of these ports to work with. So it seems like we might have to choose just one of these babies to take along with us, just one to take on both of those bluebird feathers. Assuming there are no surprise twins, of course. That has been a bit of a running theme in this tribe. Now, as the new family prepares for the births of their next children, I think Webcap is going to do a little bit more exploring on his own. I think he might actually be quite interested to see all these new faces over here, from the summer shores themselves. It's the perfect time for him to greet them because we do have this bunny stealing our berries, so maybe Scallop could scoot over here and try to catch that bunny if it hops back out of the grass. And meanwhile, Webcap could scoot over here and help protect her baby. Coral, of course, is super, super important to the future of our tribe too, because she was the only baby who managed to inherit that water body from her father. So she is definitely going to be coming with us to the next island. And I think Koi is going to have to teach her how to swim a little bit, as soon as she grows her second gem. For now, he's trying to help his son Pebble find some shells in the water, but he hasn't been having too much luck. So maybe we'll have him try to dig up some of these worms in the seafloor instead, and we'll just keep an eye open for that pesky bunny too. Where did it hop off to? Okay, it's a little bit deeper into the grass, and you know, Koi, you might actually be able to scare the bunny back out toward your mate. Maybe if we scoot him up here? No, it looks like it might be running the other direction, but now we have another bunny sitting inside the grass over on this direction. So you know what, Scallop, you might as well just gather up the berries. That way we'll at least have some food to take along with us, even if we can't catch any of the pesky bunnies. Now that Whipcap is nearby, that means that he should be able to light up the path for all of our creatures on this island. We have the very mysterious Moon Eye and Crescent, and then of course their little trainee Firefly too, who's trying desperately to tag along in their shadow. Though I think we might actually want to have Moon Eye jump over here and grab this bunny up for us before it scoots away. The food is important after all. This is still one of the easier islands, so it's quite important that we gather up all of the food that we can right now. We'll go ahead and have Crescent use his last turn to gather up some of the algae too, just for that extra nesting material, and I'm sure this family would be quite impressed anyway. Maybe he could pass it along to Coral if she does end up going to the next island, just so she has something to make her nests out of, and hopefully, of course, impress Splash too. So Firefly is a little bit slower than I expected. He's going to be a little bit behind Mooneye and Crescent, but he should be able to scoot to the next island pretty soon. Now Mowgli, of course. Mowgli is getting a little bit worried about his old friend Breeze. He hasn't seen him in so long, and he really misses his presence, more than he's willing to admit. So as his son back here scoops up some of these bunnies with his 2 giant claws, he is quite the warrior as well. We'll have Mowgli seek out Breeze this time, for the first time in his entire life, and just in time to see the birth of his children too. The Summer Shores is certainly a bit of a sadder island now, because Willow is going to be the only one left pretty soon. She's going to have to spend her time picking up all of the food that she possibly can just to help support her tribe, because New Kira is on his very last day. Her mother only has 2 days remaining herself. So I'm sure she feels like a lot is weighing down on her shoulders right now, but at least we have a lot of bunnies over here. Primrose better take care of that while she can, because that's going to be particularly hard for Willow to manage when she's all alone. So we'll gather up all of that food, and then I believe it looks like, oh my goodness, Firefly has made a friend over here too. He doesn't blend in very well with the grass, so I'm sure that bunny saw him right away. It seems like he's kind of drawn toward him. Maybe that bunny was reminded of the bright, vibrant color of berries. But now it's just down to Quill and Serpent, who are going to try to make a pathway over to the next island for Meme to take. They're super proud of her, of course. We'll go ahead and, maybe we should have Serpent set up in the water instead of picking up that meat. We'll have a Quill come over here and pick it up instead on her next turn. Because Serpent is still waiting to have her next baby, and she only has 7 days remaining on her life, so I want to make sure that she can get to the next island before she passes away. And she still has that extra little gap of water to cross too. I really hope she's not going to end up drowning before she can have her baby. That would definitely be tragic. But we should be just about out of turns. We could just move a Koi maybe back toward his baby, because he is going to want to teach her how to swim, of course. So we'll scoot him right over here on the beach, and we'll have a Webcap go ahead and pick up some of the grass, and then we can come over here and see what Breeze's babies are going to look like. I'm super excited to see if they inherit any of those special genes. Oh my goodness. This baby definitely did. She has much darker fur, so she managed to mutate the black fur, and she also mutated the black horns too. Oh, she is so pretty. And then her brother over here too with the pink mane, that is absolutely adorable. He actually looks really similar to Breeze himself, and it's interesting how he inherited those double nimble fingers too. That would be super helpful on the next island, as we're trying to gather up all of those poison berries with its poison fangs. But I am very tempted to take this little one with all of her unique genes. So as far as their names go, I think we'll name her Mamba, after the black mamba, of course, and then this little one we'll name Adder. So they still have a little bit of time to develop themselves, let their personalities shine through before we move to the next island. So we won't make any decisions just yet, but we'll see where they're at the end of the episode. And it looks like we have another bunny spawning on top of its burrow. Can you get there in time? I don't think so. It might actually have to leave this one up to Webcap, but I'm sure he wouldn't mind hunting down some bunnies for us. That's sure to impress Mooneye as well, since she did just catch her own. And oh no, it looks like Crescent is the one who grabbed that leech. Well, luckily you have your faithful sister right next to you, who can pick that leech off of you, and then you should be able to make it right over to the next island. And because he has a swimming tail, he doesn't even have to worry about taking, oh no, any drowning damage. Oh no, Crescent. It seems like he may have fallen victim to that little glitch too, where he ended up taking a little bit of damage even though he should have technically been safe. I guess it was that pesky leech, causing us more trouble than it was worth. That means Mooneye will need to wait for a little while before she can join her brother. We'll set her up right here too, and I hope she doesn't fall victim to the same little curse, the same glitch. But Firefly can set himself up right next to her too, and that means they get to spend a little bit of extra time together, as awkward as it may be thanks to Mooneye's inexperience with kids. Maybe they could even bond over some worms if they can find some on the seafloor. There you go, Firefly, that was awfully lucky. You can share that with Mooneye and we'll see if she's just as lucky as you are. Nope, it seems like Firefly has a particular skill for digging up the worms. Well, that's not a bad thing. I wonder if we're getting close to unlocking the platypus beak. Oh my goodness, we need to dig 70 times in the water to unlock that? I don't think we're even halfway there yet. So we'll have to stick with our water-bodied babies for now. And this would be the perfect time for you to take your daughter out into the ocean. So let's bring Koi down here, and we'll have Coral follow right behind as fast as she possibly can. And since they both have the water body, they shouldn't have to worry about getting too deep in the water, because they can help each other pick off those leeches. Maybe Pebble can even follow on the beach. He's probably feeling a little bit left out since he doesn't have the genetics to join them. But now might be a good time for Junebug to start exploring those swamp ports. So let's bring her up here, right on this permanent nest too, so she can try to clear out a little bit of a path. I think it's safe to say that she's probably caught Fig's attention as well. She seems like something of the fearless sort. Something tells me that she would think she could basically outrun any danger. She is super fast, but whether that's true has yet to be seen. She hasn't really run into too much danger anyway. We don't have any bugs on this island to contend with, and she hasn't seen a Berryina in her entire life. So I think Fig might try to shadow her for now, just to make sure that she's okay, while Lotus goes ahead and gathers up a couple more of those acorns, and then maybe comes to join her mate way over here by this giant family now. There are so many little critters in this area. It looks like they're going to be passing away on the very same day, which is a little bit sad. And even Breeze is going to as well. Oh my goodness, this entire group is going to pass away on the same day, and how perfect is that in all honesty? It goes to show that Mowgli has a really deep connection with them both. I wish we could still say the same of Drift, but he is going to be passing away right after this turn. And I think Breeze would probably start to notice that something isn't quite right with his brother. So we'll bring him over here so they can at least pass side by side. I do wish Mooneye was at least on this island, but I'm sure she senses all of the energy over here. That's probably why she's being drawn to the side of the island. But for now, all we can really do is comfort Drift by surrounding him with all of his friends and his family. And I'm sure that will be just enough to allow him to pass peacefully as well. We'll have Cobra and Viper stay by their children, of course, so they don't end up getting hurt by any wandering Berryinas. You never know what's going to spawn overnight. Now once again, it would seem that the bunnies have tricked poor little Vantikir and stolen every last one of his berries. Luckily, there's like one left on this berry bush over here, or maybe two. I think I do see another one way in the back. So we'll bring him here to scoop those up for his mother and get ready to do some swimming on the next turn. Rossi can prepare too by picking up some of this extra food and then scooting on down into the ocean. And then Nautilus will certainly need to catch up with his family, but not before he brings his sister across the waves. He was super worried about her because it took her so very long to catch up, thanks to her own family, of course. She did have a little family to start of her own. But we'll bring Meme up here to follow behind her sister. Quill can get set up inside the water too, but it'll take Meme an extra day since she does have that Berryina claw. She's not exactly the fastest little critter. That leaves just the sad summer shores to contend with over here. Primrose on her very last day, who can only gather up some last berries. Jump over here to scare away the bunnies too. Oh, those bunnies are going to drive you absolutely mad, Willow. I feel so bad for her because she's going to end up being just a little hermit on the summer shores, living out the rest of her 15 days all alone. But she knows that she is helping those future generations, all of the creatures that she never got the chance to meet, as they move on to the next leg of their journey and try to find Adam's old island. But we should be about done with our turns now. We'll leave Nautilus over here so we can still light up the way for the rest of our creatures, and then Mowgli right next to Drift, surrounded by the rest of his friends too, so we can pass in peace despite Moon Eye's absence. It must be very difficult for these two little babies to understand so much death surrounding the nest right now, especially because they're so very young. They only have their very first gems. They're not quite ready to take on the task of bluebird feathers just yet, but at least they have so many family members ready to share Adam's stories with them. I'm sure Drift even told a few stories of his own right before he passed. So Breeze, for now, on this very last turn of his, is going to keep that second bluebird feather tucked right next to his own, but it is just about time for us to make that decision about who should stay with us and who should end up going. I feel like Mamba would probably end up being the more quiet of the two, a little bit more reserved maybe, a little bit more shy. So as Cobra goes ahead and scoops up this extra bunny, and seeks out some berries to feed her too, we'll have Mamba toddle around this rock and hide herself away from the crowds. She just prefers to watch from a distance, of course. She prefers to be a little bit more sneaky than her rambunctious brother, who probably wants nothing more than to just dive straight into this berry bush over here with his two nimble fingers. He must be raring to collect all of the food that he possibly can. For now, he's going to have to settle with what Viper can give him, because he's not quite old enough to do the task himself. But he could toddle over this way and say hello to Mowgli, his father Breeze. We'll definitely want this group to stick right by each other's sides. We'll even bring Breeze over here so he'll be as close to his brother as possible. It's always sad to see so many of our creatures passing, especially all at once like this. This is almost turning into a little grave site for our creatures, a little gravestone that they're standing next to. At least it's very close to their safe haven as well, so Mowgli can be remembered by the entire jungle family. And speaking of which, I think it's time for a little Fig and little Junebug to make their way closer to those ports. So we'll clear out a path, of course. That is the scout's job, to make sure that everything is safe ahead of them. And hello, little bunny! We managed to find yet another one for Fig to snatch up on the next turn. He's already all set up to go to the next island too. I mean, he is also quite the adventurous sort, it seems. Very, very willing to dive headfirst into the fray, so I think they're gonna make a pretty good pair. We better figure out who has the leech too. Hopefully it's not going to be anyone who we can't go rescue. But it looks like it's one of you. Is it actually Pebble? Oh no! It was going to be your job to save your father and your sister, and instead you have the leech. Oh, he must be feeling so embarrassed right now. Well, I mean, at the very least, you can pick up your meat, so you can offer that to your father as he comes over to save the day. And then Coral can swim as fast as she possibly can right behind him and find all of this fish. Oh my goodness! You know, she's actually going to be pretty good at fishing, since she does have the Baragina claw from her mother. That means that she does have a little bit of ability in the fishing skill. So that's a particularly useful thing for any water-bodied creature to have, and hopefully she'll be able to put it to good use in the swamps. Pebble is not going to give up though. We'll change his last gem over to blue and then scoot him right down the shore again, still looking for all of those shells he could possibly share with his family. No luck just yet though. And that leaves, of course, Moon Eye over here, who we need to make sure won't take any drowning damage. Well, she is going to take some anyway. Hopefully she won't take that extra glitchy one though. We'll scoot her down into the water over here, then right across the second gap and up next to her brother. Right in between her brother and the mysterious webcap too, who is also sporting a very, very pretty crown of ram horns. We said that their white ram horns almost resembled some sort of crown of bones. So I wonder if she might mistake Webcap for some sort of mystical being too. Maybe she would assume that he has similar powers. So perhaps that would be enough for her to consider spending a little bit of extra time with Webcap? Especially since she can't exactly make her way further down the shore right now, despite all of that strange energy in the north. So we'll bring Crescent over here to pick some berries, get to know Scallop a little bit better too, and then we'll take a look at the mutation menus of both Moon Eye and Webcap. Mooneye, in all honesty, is quite healthy. The only thing she has is that hemophilia gene, so I think we will place the normal blood clotting into her first slot. And then why don't we leave the second one open, just in case she finds another mate on the next island, and we want to play around with their genetics a little bit more. Then Webcap, let's see. It looks like he's really pretty healthy too. The only thing I would like to do is maybe place the mask into his mutation menu. Since he has the dots in one slot and the stripes in the other, it'll be a little bit more likely that we'll see Mooneye's very unique mask pass along if we place this into his mutation menu. So we'll go ahead and have them breed on this turn, and then we'll see if maybe she can carry their baby onto the next island. It'll be interesting to see how she does as a mother too, since she's not really the motherly sort. But more than that, I'm curious to see if her unique powers will be passed on to her babies as well. And then little Firefly, oh my goodness, we can't forget about you. Let's have you scoot across that big gap as well, and then jump over here, so you might be able to pick up that extra nest on the next turn. So who have we left off with? Just you over here, poor Vantakir and Rossi as well? We'll have her make the jump first. Oh no, if she takes that glitchy damage, she's actually going to drown on this turn. Oh no, she did take the damage. Well, this is definitely a first, and so very fitting for this strangely cursed area of the island. Everybody is going to be passing away over here. Mooneye is going to have quite a bit on her hands, especially because when our creatures pass beneath the waves, our tribe assumes that they weren't able to move on to their next lives. So it's safe to say that Vantakir must be very, very shaken up right now. We'll have him sit right on this tile to prepare himself for the leap too, and to mourn over his mother, of course. Nautilus is also going to be extremely sad once he hears what happened. He has so much of his life remaining too. Oh my goodness, he's going to be so sad that he wasn't by her side. He might actually blame himself a little bit for not being there. Maybe he thinks that he could have helped her along since he does have that swimming tail. But for now, he is painfully oblivious of the whole situation. All we can do is bring Meme up here to set herself up too, and then Quill should be able to jump the gap in this turn, so she can join her mother right on the shore. And speaking of which, how is Serpent actually doing? She has 5 days remaining on her lifespan. It's really sad, but I don't think she's going to be able to make it to her sister in time. She always hoped that she would be able to run into Scallop again, but she only has 2 days remaining and they have this whole other island to traverse. Oh, there are so many sad endings for our creatures happening right now. I mean, I guess the one good thing is that she still has another baby to have. So as long as we can get her to safe ground in enough time, she should be able to have her baby right here where these special little bluebird siblings were born. So I think all we have left to do is visit Willow. We don't want to forget about you, even though you're so very far away from the rest of the tribe. We'll bring her up here so she can at least sit by the skeletons of her mother and Nukir as well, so she can remember her family even though they've passed away. So I do want to just sniff around really quickly too, just to make sure that we're not missing any dangers, because we haven't done that in quite a while. So far it looks like everything is okay though. Thankfully, Willow doesn't have anything to worry about over here. She doesn't even have any little bunnies trying to steal her berries yet. So that means we can go ahead and skip this day and watch as so many of our creatures unfortunately pass away. Poor Breeze, poor Mowgli, and poor Lotus too. But they were all together, all of these skeletons right by this little gravestone, so at least their family has a proper place to mourn. And that again leaves us with the very difficult decision of figuring out who we're going to give those bluebird feathers to. So now that the 2 siblings have grown their second gems, and now that so many of their family members have passed away, I think it's safe to say that they might be ready to carry out those stories that they heard. So we have Mamba and we have Adder, and I'm going to set up a little poll for you guys, so you can decide who you want to bring with us to the next island. We're only going to choose one this time. We only have room for 1. So Mamba has the home island immunity too. That is definitely something that we need to consider. Adder does not, unfortunately, but he does have those double nimble fingers, and the poison fangs as well, so he would be able to give us quite a bit of food. But Mamba's unique genetics would also be very interesting to see passed along in the rest of the tribe. So let me know what you guys think, and then in the next episode, everyone should be ready to finally leave this island behind them. But for now, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye guys!